has it in it, bottom of the 420th inning. So there's a crack in the bat. It's hit. He's running. He's rounding first. He's rounding second, completely ignoring third base. Oh, he's sliding head first into 69th base with Doug Mellard.
What up? Welcome to 69th Base. I am your host, Doug Mellard. This is the podcast where I troll the trolls. That's right. I keep idiots like Skip Bayless accountable for all their dumb takes in the sports world. I've got a great show for you. This week, I'll be talking about the Cowboys and Bills and just how wrong Skip was about all of it. How Tom Brady is getting older. That's how time works. And how Skip is terrified of that. Plus, I've got an observation on Skip's observation of Lamar. We talk about Freddie Kitchens being a complete dumbass, plus to start a new rumor, and much, much more. I am flying solo this week, so buckle up. Let's dive in. I was recently thinking about, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but often, way back in the day, sailors would be out to sea forever, and they'd be delirious, and, they're out there, maybe not out there, having relations and whatnot. And every so once in a often, they would see a manatee and mistake that for a mermaid, a beautiful mermaid. That's how delirious and or horny they were. And, I was thinking about that, and I just feel like if Skip were a sailor back then, he'd be the guy that, would see that mermaid, as he thought it was, and then they get closer and they see a manatee, and everybody on the crew makes fun of him like, ha, you were into that? That's what you thought was a beautiful woman? And then he would double down and be like, yeah, it is a woman. What are you talking about? You don't see the hot woman? And they would be like, what are you talking about? He would just buy into it, and they'd be like, well, prove it. And then I think he'd have sex with a manatee just because he has to always be right. That's how delusional he is. I think it mirrors it 100%. I'd rather sleep with a manatee easily, all of the manatees, than to be Skip Bayless for 5 minutes. I'm just gonna say that. Oh, well, normally I would welcome in the guest, so now I'll just welcome in me. Hi, me. Here we are. And I guess I'll share a story, then have myself react to it. This story, it's a bit strange. There's so much mystery surrounding it. It's a family thing. A few years back, my brother and sister-in-law helped to restore these old family films from my great-grandfather. He has a lot of films. He was a renowned hunter, and he has some old footage of the fam back in the day. You can see my mom running around as a little toddler, which is trippy. There's some of his adventures on safaris and fishing trips, and it's all very well done. The one thing that's kind of important to know is that none of these films have sound. So, some of them have some words written out at the bottom and stuff, so you know where it's taking place. It was really well produced. It was kind of crazy. It's really cool to check out. But one of these films, and keep in mind, my great-grandfather, who did all these, passed away in 1997. So, with no sound and him now being gone, we can't ask him questions, So some things are just left unanswered. For instance, there was a film, I think it's just entitled Fishing Trip or something. And it's pretty normal. It's just a lot of, boats and friends on boats and that kind of a thing. Everybody waving, everybody's looking happy. It's a nice sunny day out on the docks and stuff. And then, 7, 8, 9 minutes in, after all this normal stuff, all of a sudden, I assume my great-grandfather is filming, and there is a couple on a boat, and they are waving, and they are happy, but you can't help but notice that there is a lion on that boat wearing a little hat. And I've shown this to a couple people, and at first they think, oh, why do they have a stuffed lion? It is no stuffed lion, because they then pet the lion, and the lion does not look happy about it. It looks very upset. It looks like it lets out a big roar while it's wearing this cute little hat, and it's not happy. And then that's the end of that frame. It moves on to the next thing. What? What was that? Who are these people? What is that lion? What was the lion doing on the boat? Where did the idea come from? Did the people die 5 seconds later? Is that why they cut? There are so many questions that cannot be answered, and that's like a Kanye West type yacht activity. It feels like I have so many questions. Where they just I feel like in my head, maybe I'm making this up, they have like a martini. I'll post a pic so you can see this lion. It's crazy. Who brings a lion on a boat to go out to sea? That. There's just no way that's gonna end well. And did it? Maybe I don't know. Maybe it ended in a bloodbath. I don't see how that could be a good idea. But I also think it's the coolest thing that's ever happened to my family. Easily, hands down. Oh, all right, guys. Before we move along into the sports world, as always, take a moment. Doesn't take long. Rate, review, subscribe. It just takes a second, but it goes a long way. Thanks for all the support. And help us, keep growing this podcast. Really appreciate it there, 69ers. And now let's dive into the worst sports takes from Skip Bayless and such this past week. Guys, we have to obviously start with the Dallas Cowboys versus the Buffalo Bills. Oh, boy. This is kind of why this podcast was created. This was the perfect week for it. Because the Cowboys season has been going in such a way where this felt like a crossroads. So when you're at that point, it's fun to see Skip squirm, because he has just relentlessly been supporting them blindly the whole season, and to a fault, I want them to win, but I know it's not looking great, and I never thought I was uneasy about the Buffalo game. I thought it was a toss-up, 50-50. But he thought they were for sure going to win, and it's just so great to see the reaction the day of, the day after, and the continuing squirming. It's fantastic. So the day of the game, before the game, Thanksgiving Day, I guess they didn't take a day off. Skip probably demanded that they go in because he doesn't care about other human beings or family, and so, they did it. And probably much to the chagrin of everyone else that worked there. But the day of, he said, so Shannon and Skip both picked the Cowboys to win. And Skip said that Shannon was scared because he knows that the Cowboys were poised to take off from that moment on. He thought they were going to beat Buffalo and then be on the trajectory to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl. And he said that Shannon took the Cowboys because otherwise he would be embarrassed. That is what he said. Can you see how ridiculous this is, knowing what we know now? It's fantastic. And he also said that without things like the tripping penalty in the Patriots game, the Cowboys would be 10-1. That's how loaded that team is. Okay, we're just going to go to the hypotheticals? Okay, well, had the Dolphins drafted and secured Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley and DeAndre Hopkins, they'd be very good. The Dolphins would be very good if they had all those good players. Same fucking thing. What are you talking about? I don't want to hear hypotheticals. Who gives a shit? You're a brat. You're such a brat. He said if they lose to Buffalo, he would be done with them. And if they win, they are Super Bowl bound. Nothing in between, which the Cowboys feel very much like an in-between team. That's exactly who they are this year. But no, it's just one or the other. If they lose, they're done. If they win, they're going to the Super Bowl because this guy only works in extremes. Then they go on to lose, and Skip at least he stuck with it. He said he was very wrong about the 2019 Dallas Cowboys. And they won't go on to beat Chicago. They won't go on to beat the Rams. They won't go on to beat Philadelphia. And he says because he has no evidence that they can beat any team above 500. Okay, you're going to say that? All right. Well, we didn't have that evidence before Buffalo. So why did you think they were going to beat Buffalo? It's more of the same, you fucking idiot. And then, of course, so he's really down on the Cowboys, shitting all over them. He's done. He has written them off. But then the Eagles miraculously lose to Miami, which, great. And he is, ecstatic about it. He posted a creepy, Instagram and Twitter post of him, camera really up on himself without makeup. It's terrifying. He looks like Skeletor, and he's just saying, how about them Eagles? It's so scary. Don't let your kids see it. If you happen to watch it, shield their eyes. It's terrifying. They'll have nightmares. But he's just so pumped that they lost, and it gives him enough wiggle room. He still says he's done, but the Eagles are more done. But it gives him that wiggle room to, kind of slowly slink back to the bandwagon if they go on any kind of a streak, And I'm not really seeing that that's going to happen. But who knows in this league? It's so weird. And we got Trubisky coming up. He strikes fear in the hearts of every man on earth. So, but honestly, Nagy gets the most out of his guys. I wouldn't be shocked if we lose. I don't know what's happening, but just fun to watch Skip on this roller coaster. Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, we lost. Oh, we're done. Oh, the Eagles lost. Oh, well, we're going to win the division probably, so who knows? God, the course of 3 days or whatever. Get your shit together, man. It's embarrassing. By the way, he also on Twitter, this is funny, he said that the Eagles, we gifted them an early Christmas present, and they took it down to Miami and dropped it in the ocean. I think it was supposed to be a joke. He tweeted this, and then he repeated it on the show 10 times. So I think he will run jokes by an audience on Twitter, and then if it gets retweets, he'll say it on the show, thinking, oh man, people love that tweet. Really, they're retweeting it because they think he's an idiot. It's really kind of sad. And by sad, I mean hilarious that it's sad. Guys, I think we have to talk about Jerry Jones crying. I don't know if you saw that, but Jerry Jones was very emotional, especially when asked about Jason Garrett and stuff. He's too close to his coach. It's weird. And he should have fired him, I don't know, years ago. You've had 10 years to evaluate, and we're right back where we've always been, right in the middle. He is extreme mediocrity, is Jason Garrett. And, why was he crying other than being too close to the coach? Well, my theory, he knows he doesn't have a lot of years left. He's knocking on Satan's door. He's going to be gone soon, and he realizes, oh, I've screwed all this up ever since I fired Jimmy. So, I think that's why he was crying. I think he's evaluating his life as he grows nearer to death. It's kind of sad, but then you think, oh, he's Jerry Jones, and you're not that sad. Does that mean? I don't have anybody to check me on this episode. Another thing that really upset Skip, the Texans beat the Patriots. So he was wrong yet again. So 0 for 2 in those picks. And Skip, of course, blames the lack of supporting cast around Tom Brady. Okay? Look, he doesn't exactly have the best cast, but he has the best defense, so there's that. I also would say that it's not his worst supporting cast that he's done things with. Edelman's better than many people that he's thrown to in the past. And I just hate that that's where he goes. Because he can't say that Tom Brady is getting older. When that's brought to his attention, he starts crying, basically. So he just has to, have an excuse. So this time it's Tom Brady doesn't have any weapons. Well, Why have you bragged for 20 years that he never has weapons? Because he doesn't need them. You can't have it both ways, you old sack of leather. He's just getting older, so now he needs weapons. But he can't say that. Ugh. By the way, it's fun to watch Tom Brady get older. I have friends. I'm 40. I've got a 40-year-old buddy that he hates the Patriots, but he roots for Tom Brady because he's like around our age. So in his head, it's like, hey, we could be out there. No, we couldn't. We really couldn't. And I think, again, that's why Skip is rooting Tom Brady on relentlessly, because he doesn't want to think that he's aging. And Skip is a very, very old man. I like to give him shit. We're all going to be there someday if we're lucky. Skip is lucky in that sense, but still scary. Still old and scary. Many analysts, including Colin Cowherd and others, are all shouting, the Patriots, it's real easy. All you got to do, Robert Kraft, swallow your pride, and then re-sign Antonio Brown. You go to the Super Bowl, you win. Oh, it's that easy? You just get that maniac on your team after the horrible shit that he said about you and everyone on the Patriots or whatever? Like, yeah, that's a real solid plan. Let's first of all, do we even know that he can play? Because I doubt that he can. I assume, especially in the 100th year of the NFL, Roger Goodell doesn't welcome in crazy man Antonio Brown back through those doors for the Super Bowl. That's all the playoffs would be about, is Antonio Brown. That's it. All of his lawsuits, it would all get stirred up again. So I don't think he's coming back. Maybe not even all of next season, even if he is eligible or whatever to play. I still think he'd be suspended for quite a while, considering he has 16,000 lawsuits against him. On top of that, let's say he comes in. Is he in shape? We don't know. Also, if he comes in, is it going to be 1 day, 2 days before he snaps and does something stupid to offend everyone and he's cut from the team again? Or does something and has another lawsuit thrown at him? Like, we just don't know. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, just get Antonio Brown. It's real easy. Hey, reanimate Aaron Hernandez. That'd be great. Like, what are you talking about? Good Lord. Oh, boy. I that made me angry. Like, that guy had so many chances in the past year, and he blew all of them. Okay? If he needs to get like therapy or some kind of mental help, and he can come back, but still, he's done a lot of stupid. I'm upset. A weird observation. Skip Bayless is really loving Lamar Jackson. Who doesn't? Watching him is so fun. So what I'm about to say is not taking anything away from him, just an observation on what Skip and many other people are saying. Now that Lamar is just tearing up the league, Skip Bayless is saying Lamar is revolutionizing football. Look, he is tearing it up, and he'll probably win MVP, and he should. But I just think that's a weird statement to say he's revolutionizing, because that's the word they use every time there is a running quarterback. Vic came in. He's revolutionizing the game. There's been a lot of mobile quarterbacks. Steve Young, all these guys, Cunningham. But are they revolutionizing? We've seen it before. It's just he's taking it to a next level, I think he just has more spin moves than the average quarterback, or even a lot of running backs. I'm not saying he's not revolutionary. I don't know. I think it's just a weird. It's been done. He can run. We've seen this. Sometimes it takes a year of tape to catch up. I'm hoping that he keeps doing this because it's so fun to watch. But sometimes, he didn't start all of last year. Sometimes it takes a year to catch up on tape, and then people figure things out. I'm not saying he's going to be like shut down or anything. I just think there's a possibility after a season that people make adjustments, and then he has to make adjustments, and we'll see from there. But it's just weird to say revolutionizing. I feel like it almost takes away from it a little bit. I don't know. Just a thought. It's weird. But go Lamar. He is a badass. I don't love the Ravens, but they are the only team that's named because of a poet, which is still so funny to me. Another area where Skip Bayless was wrong, but we're not talking about it. They don't talk about it on the show. It's crazy to me. So much will happen in the NFL in a week, and so much is not talked about on their show. The Cowboys played on Thanksgiving Day, last Thursday. Monday's show, it's all about Dak Prescott and Tom Brady. Like, that's so much is going on. But here's another point where Skip Bayless was wrong. Nick Foles is benched, and Skip has always been shouting that Carson Wentz is not as good as Nick Foles. I think this is a victory in that category for Wentz. Although Wentz lost to the Dolphins, so who really fucking knows? But the Eagles are also really banged up this season. But what a weird career Nick Foles is having. Just, he goes on that magic carpet ride with his big old honker of a dick. And, outside of that, he had another good season with the Eagles, but he bounced around a few times. He gets injured all the time. He's one or the other. He's like killing it, or he's not doing well at all. And now the Jaguars are stuck with this cap money hit. They're gonna take either way. If they get rid of him or they keep him, they are screwed. But who doesn't love what's his name? Gardner Minshew. Such a weird name. I for a second thought that's not the name. That's not a real name. It is. Who doesn't love that dude? But hey, take that as another loss for Skip Bayless. Nick Foles is benched, you old sack of crap. Another weird, man, Skip's Instagram. Oh, boy. Again, shield your kids' eyes if you pull it up. If they're running around while you're, looking at this while you're listening to the podcast. But Skip posted a picture because he's been such a Kawhi supporter as of late. After a year of shitting all over him, just because he hates LeBron that much, he has to pick Kawhi in LA to be the guy in LA. Because of this, the LA Clippers sent Skip a LA Clippers jersey with Bayless written on it, and he posted not one, but 2 photographs of him in it, because he wanted to make sure everyone saw this. It's very sad. It's him in a Clippers jersey, and of course, he is flexing in both pictures. It's gross. It's really weird. Who is this aimed for? I think it's just aimed for himself. His ego is so out of control. He probably masturbates to his own images. It's really weird. It's just creepy. I don't understand. It feels like a teenage boy showing off his muscles. It really does. I don't understand. Like, you're approaching 70. Look, I get you're in great shape for a 70-year-old dude, right? Nobody's denying that. But, like, seriously, you're married. Who are you trying to impress here? You can be, appreciative of your physical being or whatever. But this is just, it's weird. He kind of looks like and there's 2 pictures, one of him facing the camera and one of him from behind. I guess he wanted, his poor wife has to take these photographs. Like, hey, honey, can you get a picture of me flexing for my Instagram? Why? Because I'm the greatest human being on earth. Okay, I get it's Thanksgiving. Can we just have a meal and not watch a game for 2 seconds? Maybe. No. After we're done with this, I'm going to yell at the TV screen for hours. But hey, can you just take this picture, okay? I was thinking maybe we could go to the movies. No. We're going to take 400 pictures until the light hits my muscles perfectly, and we're just going to do that, okay? Happy Thanksgiving. I give thanks for these photographs you're about to take right now. And yeah, the one the one of him facing the camera, he looks like a female bodybuilder. He really does. Give it a look. It's terrifying. Yowzers. Am I right? Oh, boy. Now, I want to go around the NFL just a little bit because, again, a lot happened in the NFL this week. Every week, there's so much going on, but their show misses the majority of it, Like, so much is missed. Because they just want to talk about Dak Prescott in a week where they lost to the Bills. Like, just shut up. It's Jason Garrett, Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, and they do give Lamar Jackson a bone, which is great. I'm glad they're talking about him. But outside of that, nothing went on in the NFL in their eyes, I guess. Which that has to hurt Shannon, But some other things that happened. Well, of course, I was talking about Lamar, but Baltimore beat San Francisco in a possible, rematch or upcoming matchup in the Super Bowl. Also, Drew Lock started and won his first game on a crazy last-minute pass interference penalty, but he still won nonetheless. I'm going to be honest. I actually liked John Elway growing up. When he won the Super Bowl, I liked it, but I was glad he got a ring. But now that he's the GM, I got to be honest, his search for a quarterback is so funny to me that I was actually rooting for Drew Lock to lose like in a statement loss, like just be terrible, because I just want this quarterback search to go on for so long that they eventually have to fire John Elway, and that's very uncomfortable. Like, because he got Peyton Manning, he lucked out, got him to come in. They win that Super Bowl, they go to another. But between then and now, what is it, 16,000 quarterbacks? Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch, Case Keenum, Joe Flacco. The list goes on. And now we're down to Drew Lock. Boy, what a mess. And, he got his win. That's great, but I really was hoping for a loss. I just want to see this rotation, keep going and going. Also, Foles got benched. Phillip Rivers, there was talk about he was maybe going to get benched. Thought that was kind of crazy. It's not brought up on the show. Tyrod Taylor was seen warming up. I love Tyrod, so I don't hate Phillip Rivers, but that's a pretty big story to just, not talk about. One thing, by the way, that I saw, I don't know which analyst this was, but they were saying, maybe we don't know where Phillip Rivers is going to land. He doesn't have a contract right now. Is he going to retire, or is he going to move on, or are they going to sign him? But there was somebody that was theorizing, like, hey, what if he goes to another franchise next year? Yeah, do you really see Phillip Rivers with his 1,400 children going to another city for a couple? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he's taking his bolo tie anywhere else. Also, the Bengals got their first win, you guys, against the New York Jets, who were on a little streak. By the way, in my brother's fantasy football league, I went heavy on the Jets. I played Sam Darnold because he had been on a streak, Le'Veon Bell, and, oh my God, Jamison Crowder. Couldn't think of his name. And they all kind of laid an egg for me, so that was fun in a league where I really needed that win. But, hey, gotta feel good for Andy Dalton, am I right? The Red Rifle? Ha! I think this is his reboot, I think he's made a big step forward, and we got a lot of Andy Dalton to look forward to. I think the Cowboys are going to cut Dak Prescott and sign Andy Dalton, and we're going to go to the Super Bowl for the next 10 years. What if I just became the new Skip Bayless with takes like that? It was weird, bittersweet. Dalton passed. I think he passed the all-time Bengals touchdown or yardage record. That's gotta feel weird to be like, hey, here's this hollow honor right before you leave. See you later. Oh, another big story that it seems like it's not being talked about enough. Ryan Tannehill is really, what is he, 5-1, something like that, tearing it up with the Titans. What the hell is happening? What universe do we live in? And boy, do Dolphins fans just have to hate that so much. Feels like lightning in a bottle, What are they going to sign him next year? It's crazy. Also, how does Mariota feel right about now? But boy, it's weird. The NFC East, I thought it was really just going to come down to the Eagles and Cowboys, but I thought it was going to be very competitive. Meanwhile, I thought Andrew Luck was out with the Colts. I thought the Texans division, I thought the Texans would run away with it. And now the Texans, Titans, and Colts are all right there, going neck and neck. It's crazy. And before we move on to starting a new rumor about Skip Bayless, I can't not talk about how dumb Freddie Kitchens is, right? Good Lord. Let's just dive in. I just think it's crazy. We all know what happened. There was a helmet fight between... That's so funny to say. Horrible thing that happened. I'm not laughing at the almost murder that occurred on the football field, but a helmet fight occurred. That's crazy. Myles Garrett almost destroyed Rudolph with his helmet, his own helmet, ripped his own helmet off, beat him with it. That's crazy. And Freddie Kitchens was seen on, I think it was Thanksgiving Day, wearing a shirt that said Pittsburgh started it. Okay? By the way, Myles Garrett, the guy on your team, is the guy that ripped the helmet off and tried to mercilessly beat him with his helmet. Okay? So, maybe somebody on the Pittsburgh side said something to start it up. There's been controversy surrounding what exactly was said. But your guy did try to beat someone to death, basically, with the helmet. So, I don't know. There's multiple layers to why that shirt shouldn't be worn. But on top of that, so some fans saw him. He was ironically going to see the Mr. Rogers movie. And some fans saw him, took a picture, and you can kind of see the shirt. And it blew up, and it went everywhere. And there's so many layers to this. He got very upset because every reporter was asking him, why would you think that's a good idea? And he was getting mad about that. Like, I just don't understand why you think it's okay to wear that. One, he said that he didn't think he'd be seen in it. Well, you're a public figure in the town of Cleveland where they love their football team. It's a day and age where there's no privacy. So what the fuck are you talking about? Also, he threw his daughter right under the bus. He said his daughter got it for him. It was a funny joke. And, he had to wear it because she said, you should wear this. So I think that right there, first of all, I feel like he did throw it under the bus. Like, it's my daughter's fault. It's my dumb daughter. She did this, not me. I'm an adult, okay? I feel like that says a lot about Cleveland and the way things are run, where I guess Freddie Kitchens has to listen to his children at all times. Whatever they say goes. So who's really running that team? OBJ's kind of maniacal. So I guess you have to listen to everything he says. Yeah, that makes sense. And he got very mad at the media for this distraction. He said he didn't want any distractions for his team. Then why'd you wear the fucking shirt? It's a giant walking distraction, you fucking idiot. Good Lord. Why? How did this guy get promoted? It was such a dumb move. We all saw how stupid it was. And this is not the first horrible, dumb thing that's happened this season with him. He's not good on the field, and he's not good off the field. On top of that, he, after they lose, he says that it wasn't the shirt that did this, It wasn't the shirt's fault we weren't executing plays. Well, I don't think it helped anything. And the Steelers, basically, when asked, sounded like they were super motivated by it. So shut up. One really funny spin on the whole thing. I read an article that said, God, the media will do anything to just twist the knife a little bit, try to stir the pot. They said because Mr. Rogers, I guess, was born or raised in Pittsburgh or was from Pittsburgh, this could be seen as an even bigger slight. Like Freddie Kitchens had the mindset, to go in the premeditated notion of like, I'm going to wear this shirt and go to a movie featuring a guy from Pittsburgh on Thanksgiving Day and really stick it to these guys. Shut up. Write about literally anything else, you turd. I don't know who wrote that, but you're an idiot. All right, guys, it's time for my favorite part of the show, of the program. Here it is. This is where I get to start a new rumor every week about Skip Bayless. And this week, the rumor is that, okay, guys, again, look, I always say it's going to be a rumor, but every week, it's not a rumor. It's real. It's all real. It's all really happened. You can look it up on the internet. Here it is. Skip Bayless spent $672,000 on an eBay auction for a supposed jar of Tom Brady's farts that he sleeps with every night next to his fleshlight named Tom Brady. Heard it here first, folks. If you hadn't heard it already, I guess. But that's a real thing. Can you imagine spending that kind of money for a jar of farts? And do you really think it's Tom Brady's jar of farts? Do you really think those are his farts? I mean, I'm just saying, this guy's desperate. He'll do anything. He would have paid any number, I think, to get those farts. Wish I had thought to sell those online, but hey, we all know how to make a buck here now. So that's the rumor of the week, guys. Hey, guys, thanks for listening. It's been fun. It's a real short episode, but hope you enjoyed it. And again, rate, review, subscribe. Also, I will be in Tacoma this weekend with Dan Cummins. I'll be opening for that dude once again. I'll be there this Thursday the 5th through Saturday the 7th with shows each night. I can't wait to see you guys in the Tacoma, Seattle area. Also, I've been saying it for months, and I plugged again last week thinking it would be up this week. We'll see if I get it up this week. But my T-shirts should be up online the next week or so. So look for that. I'll have Fart Safari shirts, as well as Burrito for President 2020 shirts. They're pretty stellar. People seem to love them. It sounds weird, but I wore one to the gym the other day, and a guy stopped me and said, "Hey, chicken parm for vice president." And I was like, What are you talking about? Chicken parm, vice president, bro. And I was like, okay. I forgot I was wearing the shirt, so I just thought he was a crazy person. But and then he just said, he pointed to my shirt because he saw the confusion in my face, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, that'd get my vote any day." I was like, okay. Anyway, the shirts are a hit. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Get ready to wear them proudly. Ooh, boy. Look, guys, because it's kind of a quick episode, I'll throw out another story before we end as we gear up for the next week of dumb shit that comes out of Skip Bayless's mouth. Okay, here's another story. I went with some friends to a concert. We saw Beach House and the Fleet Foxes at the Hollywood Bowl. It was my first time at the Hollywood Bowl, a lovely venue, kind of a famous venue. My friends happened to have some friend of theirs gifted them these great box seats. We're sitting just to the right of us, maybe 20 feet over, is John C. Reilly and Andy Samberg and Eric of Tim and Eric. I can't think of his last name all of a sudden. And Joanna Newsom, right? Is that her name? Andy Samberg's wife. Anyway, they're right there. We're in like these crazy good seats. And I happen to have taken a lot of mushrooms. I am tripping balls. And I just stared at John C. Reilly's face for almost the entire portion of the Fleet Foxes show. It was, and to where my wife kept saying, "Stop looking at John C. Reilly." But there was something, it was so entertaining. I was just hysterically laughing to myself. Like, he he just looks funny and like so friendly. I think it was equal parts. And I think in my head too, I was like, I'm gonna be best friends with John C. Reilly right now. And I was thinking of what to say, but I didn't realize I was just staring like a maniac. And then for the final, I don't know, encore plus songs, I had explosive diarrhea in the bathroom there. Not just in my seat. I did make it to the bathroom barely, and to where it was so bad. You know, every once in a while mushrooms will do that to you, or it just really gets you. And I thought it was so bad. I was like, is the crowd hearing this over the music? You know, like it was really bad. And I didn't really get cell reception once you go into the bathrooms there. I didn't really get cell reception, so everybody in my group was like worried about me because they thought I just disappeared. They had, cause I didn't tell them. I just said I was going to the bathroom. They didn't know I'd be gone for like, I don't know, 30 minutes having explosive diarrhea, while my best friend John C. Reilly was just sitting there waiting. Where's that guy that was staring at me? We were gonna be best friends. Anyway. Here's this bonus story about me shitting and missing a big portion of the Fleet Foxes set. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, boy. I'm a mess. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in there, 69ers. We'll see how the Cowboys fare this week with the Bears, okay? And let's see what Skip Bayless... Look, we're probably going to... Watch, we're going to win. We're going to beat Mitchell Trubisky because he's not good. And then Skip Bayless is going to be like, yeah, man, I knew it. I just had a lapse in judgment last week. But, man, we're Super Bowl bound. That's what's going to happen. That's my prediction. Hey, all right. Well, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Hope you're primed for the holidays. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week.